Good evening, everybody. This is the Redflex, the only channel run by four brothers who support Manchester United and surprisingly live in Manchester as well. We have Abdul and Harris with us tonight. We are going to discuss the Manchester United game that's coming up tomorrow against Istanbul. We also have a very special announcement for everybody that's watching, but we will tell you a little bit more about that later on. And also a big thank you for all our fans that are watching from India, Pakistan, Africa, Germany, and Italy. Abdul, Harris, thank you very much for joining us. We've got an action-packed show tonight. We'll start off. By the way, Harris, nice jumper again. You did live up to your word. Any Black
Change
Friday
of clothes
specials? Any Black Friday specials that you're going to recommend to anyone, or you're going to keep that in house?
Maybe that's for like a different show, another show.
Okay. No worries.
Fashion show, I think, is coming soon.
So Harris, we are discussing Manchester United versus Istanbul. I'm not going to try and pronounce the second part of that team's name because I'm not sure how it is. Tell us about the press conference. The Statman, Harris, over to you.
Yeah, so this is the press conference I'll start off with first, and then we'll go into some stats. So yeah, obviously obvious questions asked by Ole about what happened against Arsenal, etc. Pogba, all the kind of usual lark that gets asked every kind of press conference. Yeah, he was kind of calm about it. Just said, look, we had a bad game. Obviously, we need to play better, and hopefully, they're gonna try and do that over the next two games. We had Harry Maguire next to Ole as well, and he got asked certain questions about what happened over the summer and how he's kind of feeling about it all. And he kind of again, just said, look, yeah, he's had a tough summer, but he thinks he's kind of nearing his best form again, and hopefully he can, be at his best tomorrow and against Everton on Sunday. In terms of team news, I think we will see a bit of a shuffle. Not only because obviously a lot of the players were quite poor against Arsenal, obviously, but I think he will kind of shake it up because I think he'll want to play his best team on Sunday against Everton. So yeah, I think we can expect some changes. I think we'll discuss, what team we think it's going to be kind of later on. But in terms of stats, I think we've played 13 times against Turkish opposition, won 8, lost 5. So I think this is the 5th different opponent. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag, but I'm fairly confident for tomorrow night.
That is the optimism that we want to hear, and that was a Redflex exclusive stat brought to you by the Statman himself, Mr. Harris Ahmed.
Plenty more to come.
What's that, sorry?
Plenty more to come.
What was it? Plenty more to come. Abdul, I'll come to you next. I'm going to come to you next. So, in terms of the press conference, Harris has already told us in terms of the overview and the summary of it. There was a certain point of the press conference which we posted on our Instagram account as well. It was in relation to a certain Mr. Roy Keane. So I would love to get your thoughts on the comments made by, well, initially Roy Keane, and also the comments made by Solskjaer and Maguire.
Yeah, I'm sure all our viewers are aware of what Roy Keane has said. Roy Keane has said that the current squad that we've got are not good enough. And he's also said if we think Matic, McTominay and Fred are going to be the holding players that are going to win us a league, then we're in cuckoo land, apparently. Roy Keane does say a lot about United. He's very kind of passionate about the club. He wants the best for Manchester United. I think he's got a point, to be honest. In that last game against Arsenal, we showed no desire whatsoever. That's something I did mention in our last show as well, when it was me and Usman. We mentioned that just a complete lack of desire. It's very flat. So I think what Roy Keane has said makes sense. I think he's saying that hopefully to try and trying to stir up some fire in the bellies of the United players. If they hear that, hopefully they'll say, no, we will prove you wrong and we're going to show you what we're all about. I think Ole's reaction to it was a kind of sensible reaction, considering he has been an ex-colleague as well. So he said he always listens to Roy Keane, which I think you have to, because he says a lot, so you can have to listen to him. I think what Solskjaer said is he disagrees with that aspect of his comments. I think he's got a point, but I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is obviously going to disagree. He's not going to agree that the squad he's got is not good enough, and the squad that he has are going to get him sacked. So obviously he was going to defend his players, but maybe privately, maybe he does agree. Who knows?
Okay. I'll ask a question for both of you, really. So I think we've all played football, and we've all been in kind of team games. Obviously, not to the level of professional sports, but if you played with somebody and then later down the line they kind of say things against you, how would that be? How would that feel? It's a bit of an awkward one, that, isn't it?
I guess if you know the personality, you know what it's like from day one, then maybe it's not that much of a bit of a shock. Think about it. If you've got someone there who's always outspoken, always kind of says their piece, and then is now continuing to do that afterwards, it wouldn't really surprise you. So I don't think Ole is kind of surprised. You're right. There's only certain things you can kind of agree with in the public. There's certain things he'll want to keep in house. But yeah, I mean,
well,
obviously
he is a company man. Is he a company man? Probably is.
I don't know. I mean, obviously he's got that outlook. He's quite smiley. He's quite jovial. He's always smiling and stuff like that, and kind of says the right things. Keeps it kind of neutral. Even when he gets asked difficult questions, he kind of half dodges the question and gives a kind of a neutral answer. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's not like Mourinho or these other managers who kind of just say it how it is. But maybe sometimes you do want him to say it how it is, because then you kind of know what he's really thinking. But overall, I think that's his personality, isn't it? He's just that kind of guy. He's just, he's quite happy, he's quite jovial, and he likes to just keep things kind of level.
Yeah. So
did you notice anything about his body language or anything like that in the press conference?
Not on this occasion.
I wanted a Redflex exclusive. I want another one.
Well, in regards to he seemed quite confident. So I know in one of the previous videos I mentioned, which was the Newcastle game, in the match preview to the Newcastle game, I did mention he was looking down a lot. Over here, he seemed quite relaxed. Nothing really to kind of pick on, I guess. I didn't really sense anything that was
his arms are folded,
different from his behaviour. So yeah, I mean, I guess he's expecting those questions about Arsenal, so he would have probably got quite defensive about that. But I didn't really notice anything too different from his normal behaviour during press conferences. And just in regards to the point or the question you asked to Harris, how would I feel if a ex kind of teammate was to say something negative? I mean, what we need to bear in mind is what Keane said wasn't anything negative about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So if it was something negative about him, maybe his opinion would be slightly different. It was about the team, it's about the players. I think Solskjaer. Yeah, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Yeah, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as he said, he's going to listen to what's being said from all his ex-teammates. It's not just him who, on occasions, would make kind of negative remarks. So yeah, to me, it wouldn't make a difference, because I know at heart he wants what is the absolute best for Manchester United.
Okay, before we move on with today's show, again, we have a massive announcement that we would like to share with everybody, and we will reveal that after our next segment. And before we do move on,
are you able to give us a clue, Kasim? I'm sure everyone wants to know.
It's something that will be groundbreaking, something that it's definitely worth staying until the end of the show to find out. And another plug, if you afford me the opportunity, I would like you just to point you this way. The 99 Manchester United Champions League final shirt. I thought it's the perfect time. There's been a little bit of rumour, a little bit of criticism that, you know, we're not donning the Manchester United kit. So I thought it's the perfect time to do that.
Yeah,
but that's enough of my
yeah.
plugs.
Yeah, it's the one that I wore on the first show. It's the Champions League treble winning shirt that I wore.
Is it the same shirt?
Is it the exact same one?
Maybe.
Has it travelled to my house?
No, it's not. I've got my own.
It
I've got my own. I've got my own.
Like we've got another Redflex exclusive there.
Yeah, no exclusive. I've definitely got my own. We don't like share shirts, do we? Especially during
Not
COVID.
anymore, right?
Not in COVID.
Not anymore.
And just for everybody that's watching, we are in 3 different locations. The Redflex,
We're not really
by the law.
Not really. I'm downstairs. I was in the attic, and Cassie, you're on floor 1. Let's be honest.
I cannot comment on that any further.
Redflex exclusive.
Fake news, I would like to say.
Yeah, fake news, mate. Fake news. All different locations, of course.
I think we should move on before somebody puts an end to our show for COVID breaches. Can it happen? I don't know.
Which we are not doing, by the way.
Yeah.
Which we are not doing. Okay, so the next part of today's show, we'll move on to lineups. So I think on the official Redflex Instagram account, which you should follow, is the Redflex official. We broke to you some news that Dean Henderson is set to start in tomorrow's game. But in terms of lineups, I'll come to you, Abdul, first this time, because I'm a man of the people, and I will ask you the question first this time. In your opinion, what should the lineup be, and what will the lineup eventually be in? Will they both be the same, or do you think there'll be some changes?
I think it'll be very different to the team that starts against Arsenal. I think that kind of links in with the thumbnail that we have for this show. I truly believe it'll be kind of an experimental team, similar to kind of a League Cup kind of team, with a few kind of extra key players. I think we're going to have Martial, who's not suspended for this game, so I think maybe he will start. I think at some point he will kind of make an appearance, so I think that will happen. I think Axel Tuanzebe is going to start. I would like to see Brandon Williams on the right-hand side to see what he's able to do. I think Tellez is still not available as he's still self-isolating. Just in the middle of the park is really, really interesting to see what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does here. I would like to see, of course, Donny van de Beek start. And other than that, I'm not too fussed who else is in the midfield, to be honest. I would like to see him. It doesn't really matter whether he plays in the Fernandes role, whether he plays as a central midfielder. I would like to see him start. I would like to see him kind of create those kind of interactions and connections with the forwards. I would love to see Cavani start. Let's see what he's able to do. And yeah, so if you have those changes, I'll be happy. I think it's still a strong enough team to beat Istanbul.
I think if Roy Keane had his way, I don't think Matic, Fred or McTominay will be starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or Dan James, but that's another story. Harris, I'll come to you next. Again, in terms of lineups, but can Ole actually afford to experiment with his lineup, especially coming after the horrible defeat against Arsenal? What do you think he will do?
Interesting one, yeah, because if you look at the group scenario itself, obviously a draw wouldn't be the end of the world, but you know, if you've got this, if you've put yourself in this position where you've beaten the best 2 teams in the group, you're the 2 fancied teams, and then you come up against the team that I expect to finish last. You know, why not go for the 6 points, get the job done, finish off the group, qualified, job done, finish first or second, and then obviously you can decide whether you want to go for it or not and finish top of the group. But for me, I know he's going to make changes, but for me, he should be playing a team that's going to win this game in the first 60 minutes. You know, the game should be done and dusted. There's no point, you know, for the sake of it. Again, you know, he's been accused of this. I think it was Jamie Redknapp, was it, on Sky Sports, who said, you know, he's just trying to please too many of his players. simply by, it's like trying to give them game time, etc. Trying to make them feel as though they're part of the squad, etc. Which is good, but end of the day, this is a business where you need results, especially if you've lost 3 of your 4 home games. You can't be doing this this sort of thing where he's just like giving players minutes because he feels like they've not played enough, all that kind of business. He needs to play a decent team. He obviously make some changes. Yeah, I'm happy to have Axel Henderson in there, Van de Beek obviously for sure, and the rest of the team I'm not too bothered about really. I just the game should be dead and buried 60 minutes, and then bring on obviously like whoever you want for the last 30 minutes. Get the job done, get the win, get that winning feeling again. Let's get all these critics off our backs, and then let's kind of like regroup for Everton, which is going to be a massive game, tough game, and it's going to end up being a must-win game as well.
Okay. Just before we move on to the score predictions, and this isn't another plug for the big announcement, Abdul, what is the difference at the moment? Why are we playing so poorly at Old Trafford? It's come to the point where I think this game against Istanbul is a welcome distraction for Ole and his team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the case, to be honest. I mean, I've never known a Man United team to be so toothless, so poor at Old Trafford. I've never seen this before. Normally at home, over the last 5-6 years, we've not been fantastic at home, but we've never been this bad. That's why I'm just trying to think of the right word to use. Or toothless, I think flat is the right word. Just in regards to Istanbul as well. I mean, they also got off to a really poor start in their league as well. So I've been doing some kind of research here. So I am sorry to tread on your feet, Harris.
I'm not having that. Put this bit out, Catherine.
So I've also got some exclusive stats.
You've upset
I'm leaving, guys.
I mean, I'm sure, Harris, you already know this anyway, but I'll just share this for the benefits of the other viewers as well. Istanbul did not get off to a good start in their league campaign. They did not score for the first 4 games. They lost the first 3. So out of the 4, they lost 3 games. And now they've won the last 3 games in the league. So I think they're now 7th in their own league. They've got a ex-United player as well, which we've not mentioned, Rafael da Silva, who's in their team. So that'll be interesting to see whether or not he's still playing at a level which is suitable for the Champions League, because I have no idea if he's still actually up to that level or not. And apparently their key player, their key danger man is Edin Visca, who's a midfielder of a similar ilk and style to Bruno Fernandes, apparently. So he was the leading, he's got the most assists in the league, in the Turkish league for the last 3 years, with 19 assists last season. So there's some great stats for you there.
Great stats, mate. So proud of you.
Although we do not encourage any forms of betting on the Redflex, if you were to make a bet, then that would be your best option. Harris, quickly your thoughts on why there's such a big difference at the moment at Old Trafford and when we play away from home. Is it tactics? Is it confidence? Is it just one of those things? What is it?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things, a lot of little things which always seem to make the difference. So, in my opinion, obviously we had like the obvious issue at the start of the season where players just were simply not fit enough. And that was very, very obvious up until that first international break. We'd won against Brighton just about, but that was just maybe by fluke here and there. I think our away record kind of saw us through. What is it now? 10-11 on the bounce, which is another record for a team. I think 10-11 on the spin. So you could kind of say why the team was not playing as they should be, kind of like before lockdown. After lockdown, in my opinion, the real reason why we haven't, if you think about it, we played Chelsea and we've played Arsenal and we haven't scored. What's been the common theme in those 2 games?
You've been poor.
No, not that as well. Well, yeah, that as well. But in my opinion, the real reason is no Anthony Martial. Martial, for me, is very underrated in this Man United attack. He's the one who links up the play. He goes on the runs. He commits defenders. He can run behind. This guy is a top player. Anthony Martial is a top player. And if you ask any fan of a different team, all of them say that they love Anthony Martial. You know, that they would love to have this guy in their team because this guy's got so much talent. He's got a great understanding with Rashford. He's got a great understanding with Pogba. He's the one who kind of knits it all together. He's the one who creates that creative spark. There is no coincidence, in my opinion, the reason why we've been so poor, hardly had any chance against Chelsea or Arsenal, is simply because there's been no Anthony Martial. I'm pretty confident the next home game with Martial in it, we will see a lot of chances and we'll see a lot of goals.
Me personally, I still think he's got a long way to go in terms of consistency. Bob, your quick thoughts, you agree or disagree with that?
I think he makes a difference. But him not being in the team, I don't think it makes that much of a difference because we've had a lot of just very average and flat displays by a lot of the players. Is it because they want him? Is it because they can't kind of create that link-up play up front with Martial? Or is it just that they're not performing? Maybe they've been put in the wrong, or the kind of tactic set by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not right for those players. Who knows? But I think he does make a difference. But is his loss and his kind of non-starting in the team made that much difference? I'm not too sure.
I think it does. But if you remember, away from home, we don't ever have a problem because of the way we play. It's not ever an issue for us. We kind of hit the teams on the counter. And we have that space to kind of play in, and it always at Old Trafford, it's always a different story. Teams want to kind of hold a bit back, stay a bit deep because they know we have trouble breaking teams down. And if you don't have, those kind of creative spark players in the team, which for me, Anthony Martial is our best one. It kind of makes a massive difference. I think it'd be interesting. Let's wait for the next home game. Let's see when Martial plays, and we'll have this conversation again, and we'll see, and we'll see how much of a difference he's really made.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, very happy to discuss that at that point.
Just before we move on to our score predictions, I would just like to recap everyone in terms of how it's been a very, very successful couple of days for the Redflex. We have successfully reached over 100 followers on Instagram, and we have reached 50 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you very much for everybody who's shown their support. We also still have the massive announcement still
I am looking forward to this.
So anybody that's thinking that they've seen enough, heard enough, you've got it all wrong, because you need to stay until the end of the video. Was that an obvious plug, or do you think I tried to be casual about it, or?
I don't think you gave anything away, to be honest.
Keep on plugging away, mate.
Okay, so final segment before the big announcement. I'll come to you, Harris, first. What will the score be tomorrow? Will it be another evening of pain and misery, or will we have our head held up high with a smile on our face? Over to you, Harris.
Yeah, I just think we'll get the job done now. I think our away form's great. Istanbul are not fantastic. They may score, they may not, but I'm going with 2-0 Man United.
2-0 Manchester United. I was worried that you might sit on the fence once more based on previous.
We tend to have a habit of doing that.
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised.
I said draw against Chelsea, and I said draw against Arsenal, which was nearly right.
I'll have to go through the videos before I can agree or disagree.
I would love for the viewers to tell us as well. I would love for the viewers to have a look through the videos, and let's see what Harris has been saying.
Abdullah, in terms of you, do you think it's going to be glory, Manchester United, #trending worldwide, or?
Yeah, I think we'll win. But what we need to bear in mind, the last game against PSG, up until I think the last 15 or so minutes, it was 0-0. So they are no mugs at home. I think they're a fairly decent team. If we're in at least third gear, then we'll win this quite comfortably, I think. I'm going for 3-0.
3-0. very optimistic we are all feeling tonight.
What about you, Cass? What are you saying, lad?
I think I can't sit on the fence after giving you guys a bit of stick for that. But
Come on, you can't say it's gonna be a draw.
I think it's going to be a night to forget for Manchester United, and I don't want to be that guy.
Oh my God!
But,
you're wearing that shirt and you're saying that?
No, I'm wearing that shirt, but there's a reason. There's a reason why I would take a loss against these guys and take the 3 points against Everton instead. So that's why I'm going for that.
So what? A draw?
A 1-0. I think it's going to be a 1-0 defeat, unfortunately. But I have been right most of the times. But I hope on this occasion that I am wrong.
We'll check the footage, won't we? About how correct you've been with your score prediction.
Well, saying that, I said 4-1 against Red Bull Leipzig. Ended up being 5-0, so it's not exactly right. But I did feel optimistic. But for some reason,
the Arsenal game?
I said it was going to be 1-0 United, but it was 1-0 Arsenal. So
that's completely wrong, isn't it?
That was completely wrong.
There's not much I can say. I've got every single prediction wrong so far. So ignore me. There's no point asking me in the future.
I'm saying 3-0.
So anyone out there who is thinking of betting, which obviously we don't endorse.
Ignore what I say. Completely ignore me.
Yeah, just completely ignore.
Okay. I think it could actually be the time that everybody has been waiting for. It is time for the big announcement. So
the drum roll.
That would be nice, actually, if we could get a drum roll.
Let's make a drum roll.
We can try.
Actually, just before you give the drum roll, I want to give a special shout out to one of our massive fans called Ankrit Shrena from India. He sends all his love from India to the channel. Much appreciated.
Much appreciated.
We will send you a direct message and we will get you on the show at some point, which leads me to the special announcement. Cue the drum roll. Just about. Abdul didn't really bother, unfortunately. So that was disappointment.
Lifeless.
Let's get. I'm so looking forward to the announcement. I'm on edge. I'm like very nervous to hear what this is. I'm intrigued.
So the news is, so we've said that it's been a very successful couple of days for the Redflex as a channel. At the moment, I think it's 50 subscribers that we have at the moment. As soon as we get the 100th subscriber, which fingers crossed isn't too many days away, the 100th subscriber will be live and exclusive on the Redflex. And this person can be anywhere in the world. We'll have one thing in common, and that is the love for Manchester United. So if you want to be on the Redflex, make sure you are number 100. Apart from that, is there anything else that Abdul or Harris you want to add before we go?
I was going to say that depending on where they're from, we may need to source a translator.
Okay.
But yeah, we can deal with that. we
can deal with that in the future. Also, I mean, I would like to say thank you very much for everyone who has followed on Instagram and follows us on Twitter and has subscribed on YouTube. The kind of main difference between this channel and a lot of other channels is we will get fans on the show. So this is what we will bring to the show, which is completely different, as well as all of the things that we believe are very unique to the show. This is something that we are going to do, and we will bring the fans to the show and make it into one global community, which is what we want to achieve, hopefully, in the near future.
Yeah, just to add to that, it's not just about us four brothers. It's about everybody that shares the love for Manchester United, and we want our voice to be heard. So make sure you hit the notification bell. So that's about it for today's show. Thank you very much for tuning in. We are the Redflex, the only channel in the world hosted by four brothers that support Manchester United and live in Manchester. Thank you very much, and we will see you soon.